Hello teacher, hello students. Welcome to today's lesson. I hope you learned about capital account balance in your previous non-plasma lesson. In today's lesson, we will discuss trade, globalization, and economic integration. But first, I want you to answer the following question by discussing in groups. What do you know about globalization? I hope you've defined globalization. Now, let's discuss the answer together. Globalization does not have a specific meaning and definition. However, it can be seen as follows. Globalization is the system of interaction among countries of the world in order to develop the global economy. It refers to the integration and interconnection of economies and societies all over the world. Globalization has different dimensions. Some of the dimensions are economic, social, political, cultural, technological, and others. Seen from economic dimension, globalization is the process of integrating an economy with world market. The increase in openness of economies to international trade, financial flow, and foreign direct investment. Students, in the 1990s, globalization was used as one of the development strategies by major international institutions, such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, abbreviated as IMF. It has been viewed as a potential for bringing least developed countries out from social and economic stagnation. Globalization is considered to bring benefit to all parties based on the following prominent principle. The prominent principle is that if countries are engaged in voluntary exchange or international trade based on specialization along comparative advantage, then globalization would bring benefit to all participants of international trade. It is argued that specialization would help countries to supply goods and services at lower price in the international market. The source of these comparative advantages can be natural endowment or acquired endowment, such as superior knowledge, technology, and specialization. According to this principle, least developed countries, including Ethiopia, are considered to have comparative advantage on natural resources based on labor-intensive industries. I hope you now have some idea about the concept of globalization. And now, let's proceed to our discussion on the opportunities and challenges of globalization to our country. Before we do that, I want you to jot down the possible opportunities of globalization to Ethiopia. Students, have you jotted down the possible opportunities of globalization to Ethiopia? That's good. Here are some of the opportunities of globalization to Ethiopia. If proper policies are adopted, globalization can open new markets for domestic products, provide investment capital that could enhance productivity, can facilitate the easy flow of technology transfer, can make domestic economy more competitive by imposing good work ethics, discipline, and overall productive efficiency. Students, now let me ask you again to jot down some of the possible challenges of globalization to Ethiopia. Students, did you jot down some of the possible challenges of globalization to Ethiopia? If globalization is not properly managed, it could cause some of the following possible challenges to our country. It could weaken or destroy the productive capacity of domestic producers, especially in manufacturing sector due to world competition. It could make the domestic economy become vulnerable to external shocks. It could undermine national sovereignty of the government to address distributional and social issues. This is because international institutions and companies would directly or indirectly put constraints on the freedom to make policy. It could also trigger competitive devaluation and unproductive competition among countries that have similar endowment and comparative advantage. This could affect the healthy economic relation of Ethiopia with other African countries. I hope you've understood the challenges and opportunities of globalization. Now, let's proceed to our discussion on the concept of economic integration. Do you know what economic integration means? Well, regional economic integration is the process by which states within a particular region increase their level of interaction towards economic integration by reducing or eliminating traditional trade barriers such as tariff and non-tariff barriers. Economic integration includes the integration of macroeconomic policies, free movement of factors of production, and free trade between member countries. Students, the motives behind the need for economic integration among countries are varied. However, the prominent motives are the search for economic development and the expression of political solidarity. Students, regional economic integration has economic benefits to member countries. Now, with the students sitting next to you, discuss the possible economic benefits or economic gains of regional integration. Did you discuss the economic gains of regional integration? Very good. Some economic benefits of regional economic integration are: it enlarges the economic size and improves efficiency of the region. It increases production and productivity of the region due to specialization along comparative advantage and exploitation of economies of scale. Regional economic integration also improves trade relation of the region with the rest of the world. Students, there are different forms of regional economic integration in Africa. The following are integrations that are recognized by the African Union. Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA. The East African Community, EAC. Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. Southern African Development Community, SADC. Community of Sahel-Saharan States, CENSAD. Arab Maghreb Union, AMU. Economic Community of West African State, ECOWAS. Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS. In today's lesson, we have learned about trade, globalization, and economic integration. Specifically, we tried to understand the meaning of globalization and its benefits and challenges. We also discussed economic integration. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. In your next non-plasma lesson, you'll learn more about trade, globalization, and economic integration. I'll see you next time in another program. Until then, goodbye, teacher. Goodbye, students.